Coming up in this episode of Garage Talk Unwrapped, we have our final part of the Automechanika 2025 preview. Make sure you come and see us at the show at stand D122 in Hall 20. Complete Diagnostics provide a tool demo on an Aston Martin. We hear from Mark Field and Ellen from Ben about the IAAF five-a-side football, and have a mental health awareness video from MAHA. Duckhams are celebrating their 125th year in business and taking us back through the archives. We also find out all about A1 ADAS Group in a special feature. Keyloop launched their new service centre, and we have the second part of Glen Callum Associates' Our Aftermarket series, this time with Neil Grant from Hella. We finish off with Peugeot, who have created a photo shoot that's completely powered by nature. First, we hear plans for the biggest UK aftermarket show on the horizon, Automechanika.
Welcome to the preview of Automechanika 2025. Here's a taste of what's coming up at the exhibition.
So we're going to be showcasing a lot of different ADAS products, a lot of diagnostic products, including our remote diagnostic interface, and talking a lot about garage equipment as well.
We are really looking forward to Automechanika 2025. We are working with lots of partners across the show. We're going to have activations on lots of stands, driving traffic to our stand, and we aren't quite finalised on our stand yet, so there could be some surprises. But we're really excited to see everybody and raise awareness of Ben and the services we provide.
Hi, I'm Holly from Frasley Mobility. So this is an exciting year for us because it's our first time exhibiting in the UK as Frasley Mobility. So we're going to have all four of our brands on display. So Duratec, Frasley, which is CV, Abtex, and then our new brand, which is Nakata, which is launching in April. So yeah, it's perfect time to come and see all the brands, meet the team. And yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Well, last time we did Automechanika, we had a fantastic show. We even went away with an engagement award. This time, we're bringing all of our OEM experts to you. So we'll be bringing our tech support team. They'll be there every day to answer questions. Now, a lot of our customers may already know Sam and Ed. They're going to be there running special Q&A sessions, so you can ask them whatever you want about running dealer tool diagnostics. So the idea is we want workshop owners and technicians to be able to understand the latest advancements from the OEs, therefore future-proofing their garages.
Hi, I'm Jerome from Northside 4x4. We specialise in Toyota 4x4 parts, aftermarket and genuine. We supply over 55,000 parts, and at Automechanika in Birmingham 2025 we will be unveiling parts not available to the market, so it'll be a world exclusive parts availability for the repair and restoration of Toyota 4x4s.
Tom, Automechanika exhibit today. You've just done a presentation on social media. How important is it for the show?
You know, it's really important, Ben. I think this is the kind of, as I said in the presentation, the show opens in 76 days, but actually it started months ago for these guys. I think you've also got to remember, you got 15 to 20,000 visitors. What about all the other garages that aren't able to get the day off and come to the show and invest that time? So it's a great opportunity for businesses, for brands to go and reach people that aren't able to come to the show as well.
What I want to know is what content should people be doing?
I mean, content is king. I think the kind of the big thing is just make sure you're creating content. I've kind of split it down into 3 tiers. So you look at content for now whilst you're at the show. You can then look at content that you can use across a 6-month basis. So maybe it's supporting a product launch, and then look at that evergreen content that you could use for years down the line. We work with a lot of clients who made some really good content 2 years ago, and it's actually still been fruitful for them today.
And I think we want exhibitors to create content, but also visitors is quite important to create content, isn't it, to promote the show as well? And so they're coming to the show and what they're looking for as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's the beauty of social, is it gives you that full feedback loop. You can understand what people have enjoyed, what they wanted to see more of. And I think also just getting people sharing, we're going to be at Automechanika this year, from a visitor perspective, just creates a really, really good buzz about it.
And I think that's the key, isn't it? Because it's not about the exhibitors, it's about the visitors, because they're the ones spending the money, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And it's an opportunity, and this is what I've kind of always said, is you don't always have to be an exhibitor to get something good out of being at a show. You can just tell people that you're going to be there, and people will find you at the show. It's really, really good.
And there's many content creators. Indeed, this is the second time this week we've been together at the same place creating different content.
Yeah, Absolutely. I think you look at the content creators that are in the industry now, there are more than there have ever been. And these guys they're getting tapped up, they're getting bought into brands, they're becoming ambassadors, and they're actually becoming one of the biggest pulls for other garages to come to the shows because they want to meet their content creators.
Well, what did you just call them? Celebrities that are normal people or something of that?
Yeah, so you have your, what I kind of call your influencers, and then your people of influence, and these are the new celebrities of the industry. So you're looking at your likes of Alex Lindley, Tim Benson, Tina Drayson. These are the guys that they do the job day in, day out. They run the businesses, but actually they give you really, really good insights in what you can do for your own business.
So just to finish off, Tom, what's your biggest tip?
I would say biggest tip for exhibitors is create as much content as you possibly can. This is your opportunity where you've got a lot of the sales team, a lot of your staff all on stand with product, with things you can talk about. Create as much content as you possibly can because it will serve you for a long, long time.
Michael, we're about 2 weeks away from the largest aftermarket show in the UK. You're a legend at the show, of course. Tell us your history for Automechanika.
Been involved with Automechanika for a couple of years now in a range of different roles, from representing a company that I work for to being on a board of discussion about education and getting youngsters into the industry. Last year I was fortunate enough to be a judge at the national painting competitions as well. And also had the opportunity to visit Automechanika in Frankfurt last year as well as a consumer when I was working for a group of body shops. So yeah, it's been really good, really varied.
What do you get out of the show itself?
I think it's great for networking. It's a good opportunity to meet those people that you might only hear what they're up to in magazines or on LinkedIn, or what your colleagues might say, oh, these are up to this and they're up to that. You get to see them in person. It's great to see all the other initiatives, School of Thought, for example, what they're up to. And it is a great opportunity to see the latest and greatest products as well, because they're out there. There's demonstrations, there's technical talks, there's a whole broad range of things. So it's a real good insight to the industry.
It's led to the outside world for you as well, hasn't it, really, in over the years? You've seen many things because of your success Automechanika.
Yeah, it's really been a good springboard into other opportunities that have come off the back of it as well. So you shout online about what you're up to, and other people want to be involved in what you're doing as well, so they can come along on the journey. And it's just make the most of the opportunities, and you never know where the next thing could be.
What are you up to at 2025 show?
Come and have a look, come and chat to us. We've got a great training academy. We've got lots of opportunities to become a ready customer. We can support you in a number of ways. But I'm also, as an individual, part of the National Painting Championships. So I get to be a judge on a panel and pick the best. There's 8 finalists. They're going to be up there in the public display, so the public can choose which one they feel is the best visually, but we get to look at the intricate details, the masking, the super challenging colours, the different ways that they've applied that paint, and really choose what we feel is the best one.
Excited?
Really looking forward to it.
So Tina, what is it that you think garage owners are looking for from Automechanika?
For me, I want passion, I want engagement, I want the exhibitors to be able to draw us in, I want hands-on, I want to be able to touch and feel, I want to be able to walk around, I want to be able to network. There's just so much that you can take away from a day at Automechanika.
Yeah, I think when I look at it from my perspective, it's really important that we actually get the opportunity to speak to people. The benefit of coming to these events is the chance of networking, getting access to people within organisations and within companies that you wouldn't necessarily see other places. So that's the key thing from my point of view. It's that chance to get to meet everybody at the garages, suppliers, people, part suppliers, manufacturers. It's all in under one roof.
Yeah, they provide us a unique opportunity to get together and do that networking. And some of the things from last year after the garage panel discussion was the great opportunities that came on, people asking questions about what we discussed, people that perhaps hadn't been before. So it was a really great opportunity to share knowledge and gain ideas from other garage owners.
Yeah, and I think that's also so important. It's getting the opportunity to learn from people, and I think that's what these events do. In terms of actually going onto stands and seeing what people have got available, they've got to think about what can entice you onto the stand. What is it that's going to make you go there? What is it that's going to make you want to step over that threshold to talk to them? And they've got to think about all their different customers that are in the building as well. You've got the business owners, you've got the technicians. What are they trying to engage with? What are they trying to catch and learn from?
Yeah, I think one of the big takeaways from me, from the people that I believe have been successful, is taking the time to actually talk to you when you visit their stand, because people buy from people. So asking about your garage business, what you do, your role you play in that business, what you're looking for, and spending the time talking to you as an individual rather than just all about the product that they're selling is really important.
Yeah, no, and just to circle back round, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's connections, building relationships, because you've got to remember that I doubt that many deals happen at the show. It's all about what happens from your relationship, from learning, developing relationships, and then that coming back to later, because you never know at what point you are in that buying cycle and what point you are in that business cycle, and that's really important to think about as well.
Yeah, definitely. And also, when you do make that decision on what products you buy, very often it's not the product itself, because they generally do the same thing. It's the relationship that you've built with the people and the suppliers. That's what will make you decide one way or the other.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
For tools and machinery, come to Machine Mart. Experts in our 65 superstores help you choose from the vast range, including air compressors, tool chests, stoves, welders, generators, water pumps, heaters, power tools, and much, much more. Or just order by phone or online. Look out for our money-saving special offers. Our free catalogue contains hundreds of price cuts and great new products. Or visit our website with thousands more specialist products in Machine Mart Extra. Shop in-store, online, or call.
So before we plug in, Ed, what is it that you've done to the vehicle?
We've done a little bit of work on the bonnet and the wing. There's a small dent here. So we're just going to do a post scan now just to make sure there's no faults. We've obviously took the bonnet off and plugged a few things, so hopefully there's nothing there that's going to show up.
Not a problem. Should we get into the vehicle? Yeah. It's not every day we get to work on an Aston Martin. So if you could plug that into the OBD, please. If you just hold it up and you can see the green lights flashing on the front, means it's receiving power from the vehicle.
Okay.
If you turn it onto its side, the top side, there's an Ethernet port, and once it's gone through its cycle in a couple of seconds, the yellow light should come on solid and the green light should begin to flash. So if you want to pick up your phone, so as you can see the tool number is on there, the Wi-Fi icon has now gone green and there's a black arrow on the opposite side. If you want to press that arrow for me, please. It should be checking for the VIN now and it should automatically detect the VIN. Some vehicles you have to switch the engine on for it to detect the VIN number, so it might be worth trying that.
Cool.
If you press next for me. and it should have detected everything about it, model, engine size, everything. So if you press next again, if you go to favourites, we should have remote diagnostic support in there. Click next, please. And then if you want to put something in the reference where the plus sign is,
okay. Should have put
if you know the reg, put the reg in there.
How about EB? What?
That's great. If you click the terms box and then press create, please. And within 30 seconds of you pressing create, one of our technicians should pick the ticket up, and you'll be able to have a live chat with our technician and let him know exactly what you want him to do with the vehicle.
Good morning, how can we assist?
Yeah, if you want to let him know just to scan your vehicle.
Send?
Send, yeah, that's fine. And he should now ask you for the reg and mileage of the vehicle. So it might be worth popping that in.
Okay. Scan is running now on this port. So it looks like he's accessed it now.
Yeah.
Right, so that's off now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on again.
There's a little thing you can just press done.
Oh yeah, okay, little quick words.
Yeah, it's very similar to WhatsApp chat. Really the only difference is on this side of the screen you have an envelope rather than a...
Right, to show that it's
rather
been
than
read.
a tick. Yeah, so the envelope will be closed until he's read it and then it'll open. If he says how many lights are on the dash, you can take a picture of that.
Can you upload images to it as well?
Upload images as well, yeah.
That's cool.
So if you weren't sure about fuses or something, you take a picture of the fuse and say, do you know which one I'm supposed to be checking?
That's handy.
And he'll send it back with a, you can draw on it, send it back with
a little arrow. Looks to
be
be a clean scan. The Callum has been working on the car and he's just sent me the scan over and it's got no faults. So that's pretty handy to know.
Hello, Mark Field here, IAAF Chief Executive. I'm here with Ellen Plumer from Ben and delighted to announce that the IAAF will be donating any monies raised from its upcoming IAAF five-a-side tournament to the charity and all the great work that the charity does for our industry. I'm also going to hand over now to Ellen, who's going to announce the participation of Ben in our upcoming tournament on the 22nd of May, Thursday the 22nd of May, at the Bet365 Stadium, home of Stoke City Football Club.
Yeah, so we're really excited to be taking part in the football. We've got 2 teams playing and Rachel Clift, our CEO, is actually playing on the day. I won't be playing. I will be chief water girl and delivering cut oranges and cheerleading all the way. But we're really appreciative of the IAAF and all their ongoing support. So we're really excited for the day.
And if we can also start a campaign to get Ellen playing, that would be great. So the more comments we get on this post and the more support we get, then the more we can see Ellen's football skills.
Let's go viral and I'll see you.
Brilliant, thank you, and thank you for all your support of IAAF and Ben.
Thank you.
I was suffering a little bit with anxiety and depression after a couple of things happened in my private life, and a good friend suggested, rather than seeking the counselling route and all that kind of thing, that maybe joining the gym would be a good idea, just a little outlet and something to think about. Using the treadmill for a few months, I was getting a little bit faster, remembering that I used to run on the road as a kid, and thought I'd give it a try. And since I've been running on the road, I've not looked back really. I've not been back on the treadmill. Running is worth a try if you're able to do it and not push yourself into something stupid. When I was a teenager, I used to run quite a lot. We had to do cross country at school, and then sometimes I would qualify to do cross country outside of school. And the last time I ran 10k would have been when I was about 15 or 16. my niece and nephew used to attend it quite regularly. They're all quite athletic anyway, so I was aware of it. I'd never actually been to the park when it was on, so I had no idea about what the atmosphere was like. And I went, saw a lot of people I used to work with, even people who don't know, they come up and chat. You get to be a familiar face, they get to be a familiar face. I've definitely caught the bug. It's a cheap hobby. I'm really enjoying it. I'm definitely noticing the weight loss and the improved fitness. Everyone else has been supportive. Been a lot of remarks about the change in my attitude and the change in how I look as well. Just remember you're running for yourself, and I do remember I'm running for myself, and I'm not usually that competitive. My reaction to not such important things before was like they were the end of the world. I think it's made me more analytical, not just of the data I get from my run, but just about everything in life. I just give things a bit more thought before I panic.
For tools and machinery, come to Machine Mart. Experts in our 65 superstores help you choose from the vast range, including air compressors, tool chests, stoves, welders, generators, water pumps, heaters, power tools, and much, much more. Or just order by phone or online. Look out for our money-saving special offers. Our free catalogue contains hundreds of price cuts and great new products. Or visit our website with thousands more specialist products in Machine Mart Extra. Shop in-store, online, or call.
Motor racing, you're very much in the hands of the people who prepare the car. It's much more a plan of campaign, which if it goes well, is extremely satisfying.
And that is quite surprising, but completely.
One chef, now the future is yours. Go! Yeah, I was building on a lecture. Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on the plot and the scheme. The true style trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking one shot for the kill. The breeze cut, freeze up, straight drop in the chills. I'm talking taking over pieces and shares. A ball break sky high. Check the movement is here. Yeah. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. We put the bars in the place. I'm talking one chance at best, yes. Painting pictures for the culture, keep the brushes fresh. Flip the cover, work the drummer, passion never rests. Freedom is our teacher under pressure, now we blessed. The goal is one art, one shot, now the future is yours. Go! Yeah, it's one art, one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
I'm Ian Malloy from A1 ADAS Group. The business started in 2020, just before the COVID lockdown. The group consists of three businesses, which is A1 ADAS Solutions, A1 Remote Diagnostics, and more recently, Auto Calibration Limited. We're a family business. We initially set up due to a demand for ADAS calibrations on a mobile basis throughout the east of England, which meant going into businesses to talk to them about calibration of cars, cameras, radars on cars, 360 calibrations on vehicles, and then looking at diagnostics and advanced diagnostics on cars, coding and programming. We've obviously evolved since then, and we now do a lot more services such as wiring repairs, electric vehicle shutdowns, and coolant bleeding. My history is predominantly diagnostics and ADAS. Previous to that, I was working for a motor factor group, and from before that for a Volkswagen main dealer group. So cars have evolved a lot since we first started doing ADAS. We were initially being called in to do simple tasks, just such as radars and cameras. Now we're called in to do a lot more complex vehicle tasks, including a lot more things like blind spot calibrations, 360 camera calibrations, and then obviously into the EV market as well. We see longevity in what we do, hence why we're expanding nationwide. We've got teams of technicians now throughout the country, and they're all qualified dealer technicians to help get cars fixed quicker.
Our ethos behind the business is to work with integrity and work hard with our customers to ensure that our company ethos is carried on throughout all of our sales. Compliance is important because it sets us apart from our competitors. It shows the market that we're serious about doing things right, and we're actually internally and externally audited by independent people. So it's really important that we get those accreditations across. So the accreditations that we have at A1 ADAS Group are ISO 9001, ISO 14001 and ISO 45001. In addition to that, we've recently acquired BS 10125. And then last year, we were really lucky to get Safe Contractor accreditation. And that came about because one of our customers' procurement team wanted us to be Safe Contractor approved.
So when we first started A1 ADAS, it was myself and Adam out on the road, Helen back at base, and we were going out, seeing customers, building our customer base, and doing calibrations and coding work.
Completely different for me, coming straight out of school. I really enjoyed it, sort of took to it quite well. I think what I probably enjoy most about the coding work is getting to see that behind the scenes view of how a vehicle actually runs, and it's quite unique to us that we get to see that and access all the main dealer diagnostic tools to do that.
So after 18 months of working with the business, we brought Adam on as a director.
I'm really proud of Adam. He's come a long way in the last sort of 4 or 5 years of doing ADAS calibration and diagnostic work.
I'm so proud of us as a family. I'm proud of us as a couple, and I'm really, really proud that we've been able to include Adam, and actually we can trust him with anything. So my day-to-day role generally starts off with helping the remote team. So we look after vehicles all around the country. So windscreen companies, accident repair centres, it could be a garage or it could be a fleet customer. And what we always try to do, if it's especially for those unique ones that we maybe haven't come across before, we'll put a bit of time into research and development to try and figure out what software can do, and then make that investment just so that we're always at the forefront. For me personally, the nicest cars that we get to work on would be the Lamborghini Urus. We do see quite a few of those, and we get to work on other premium vehicles as well, like Bentley, and Porsche as well, and those are always nice to do. The most common group of vehicles we do is the Volkswagen Audi group. Second to that, we're probably looking at Ford. But yeah, those are the really common ones. They're like bread and butter to us. We do so many. The most common job we do on any brand really is probably a front radar programming or a steering rack programming on the remote side. And then for the mobile ADAS team, it's going to be a front radar calibration.
I'm Matt, the UK sales manager for the A1 ADAS group. I supply and support garage equipment and diagnostic equipment ranging from diagnostic scan tools and ADAS equipment across the whole of the UK. I'm an IMI accredited ADAS technician, so we also provide installs and support for all of the products that we sell. If a customer's got continual issues with a product, we will continually be there to support them in the background and help them either via TeamViewer on the tool, so we can take control of the actual tools while they're using them. We can support them via the remote side of our business as well. Accuracy is really, really critical with regards to ADAS calibrations, and we need to make sure that what we're doing is manageable and measurable.
My name's Paul. I'm a mobile technician with A1 ADAS Solutions. I've been working for them just coming up to 3 years. We get to engage with our clients on a sort of a kind of a one-to-one basis. They learn to put their trust into us as much as we learn to put our trust into them. I'm dealer trained. I was level 2 technician for Audi, and I was there for 13 years, and then I was level 3 at Jaguar Land Rover as well, which I was there for 3 years. EV wiring, I think, can be challenging. However, once you understand and have the training, which is very important, it's quite simple and easy to work out. You need to make sure that you're fully trained, you need to make sure that you have got your qualifications, and you need to make sure you're being safe, because without any of them, it could go horribly wrong and be very dangerous.
My name's Kieran, Operational Manager at A1 ADAS Group. I manage the day-to-day of A1 ADAS, so that's in regards to organising jobs for the guys on the road and also in regards to the fleet management as well. The insurance side is an interesting one. You have to piece together quite a lot of different reports. You have to make sure obviously you're compliant with their side of things, and obviously each insurer is slightly different to what the next one wants as well. So it's making sure we put our processes in place to safeguard our customers, but also provide as much information to the insurers as possible, so less back and best key-to-key time. We make sure that all of our technicians are fully qualified for the IMI course for ADAS calibration. Again, it's a minimum requirement that we provide our customer base. On top of that, we also provide other EV training for vehicle shutdown and startup, as well as wheel alignment training as well to make sure the vehicles are equipped and ready for ADAS calibration. So A1 ADAS not only does mobile ADAS calibrations, we also have our remote service that supports us on the road as well, but a big fundamental part of the business is also our equipment sales. We test rigorously all of our equipment, and we only sell and promote really the equipment that we believe in that works best. We take that as the first case of our technicians on the road. We use the equipment, we invest heavily into tooling, and we then promote the equipment that we believe works best for our customers and will provide the best result.
Hi, I'm Wayne, Regional Manager for A1 ADAS Group. As Regional Manager, I look at the team on the road. I've been in the motor trade 29 years and worked heavily in dealers who were from apprenticeship to master technician. I worked roadside for a bit for Mondial, BMW Assist. Gone are the days where you strip engines and gearboxes. It's more likely to be computer-based as opposed to component-based. Mainly I work for A1 ADAS because it's a family-run company and you're treated like a person, not a number.
This is a great day. Now, I want to thank the people at Keyloop, but also our customers who made that possible.
It's not every day that you go do a product launch in the size that we're doing today.
So 14 months, we've really gone from ideation all the way through to having a generally available product here in the UK. Now, that is a speed of innovation, which is not just important now, but it's actually important in the months to come, because there's a lot more still to come with Service Hub.
We touched base with you guys again and was really pleasantly surprised how quick you've come on to what we've got today.
It's a real leap forward for Keyloop, stepping outside of the DMS and thinking about other technologies that can make automotive industry be ahead.
Exceeding our after-sales budgets by around 10% so far this year to date. More than KPIs, they're the things that mean a business is going to survive and thrive and be successful.
Service Hub 360. It is an absolute game changer.
Welcome to our Aftermarket. My name's Glenn Shepherd, I'm Director at Glen Callum Associates Limited. I'm going to be interviewing some of the Aftermarket's top brass with a focus really on looking at the careers that are available within the supply chain. Over the next few episodes we'll be talking to Neil Grant, Steve Jarnett and also Nigel Duffield, all of whom have progressed within the industry to senior roles, so it's going to be interesting to see their specific stories and how they've progressed their own careers with a view that we're promoting aftermarket careers and opportunities that exist now, and also the opportunities that will be available in the future too. Welcome to the second part of our aftermarket, and today I'm delighted to be at Hella with the Managing Director of Forvia Hella, Neil Grant. Welcome, Neil.
Thanks, Glenn. Cheers.
So it's been well reported over the last few months, and that's the aftermarket really is a shortage of technicians and garage type staff. However, we really want to focus on our aftermarket and the opportunities that are available. So today I'd like to cover with Neil about that subject and obviously where we're headed in the future. So Neil, could you just explain a little bit about Hella and your aftermarket and the way that you see the aftermarket from your perspective?
Yeah, sure. So, I think Hella is a well-established brand in the aftermarket, been around 125 years, been active in the UK for 65 years. I think the evolution of what is happening in automotive is huge, particularly in the last few years. Hella obviously predominantly been a lighting organisation, and that's how many people still know Hella. The Forvia part came out of a takeover by Faurecia a few years ago, and we have seen our product range diversify quite a lot from lighting, electronics, where we have had some competencies for many decades, diagnostics, ADAS, soon to be braking, which we've had in Europe for a long time, thermal management, which will be coming back, which we were very strong in. So yeah, Hella as a business is well positioned and has been for many, many years, both in the past and with future technologies that are coming as well in the industry.
And just tell us a little bit about the supply chain, because I think it's important, for potential candidates that want to join our business, that they understand it's not all about technicians, it's not all about mechanics.
Yeah.
What sort of disciplines do you foresee, sort of right now, and where you perhaps might see it in the future?
Yeah, I mean, the aftermarket is a huge area. Automotive in general, there are so many careers, but I think people look at the aftermarket as being quite a small area, but there is so much to it. So from our point of view, if I think about what we look after, from a local sales company of Hella, which is obviously a big worldwide organisation, we have product managers, we have planning and purchasing, we have customer service teams, we have sales teams, we have a warehouse, we have diagnostic sales, we have a new or relatively new area with remote diagnostics. Mm-hmm. We have a whole range, HR of course, finance. Yeah. There are so many divisions to our business that I think when we look at shortage of people coming into the industry, yeah. I think that what we find, or what we've seen when we've been working with younger people and organisations that are really looking at skills gaps, for me, we showcase a small snippet of the aftermarket to people. And if they decide they don't like that or that's not for them, they leave the industry. I think the thing that we are really missing is to showcase our aftermarket in a better way, to be able to demonstrate the breadth of opportunities that there are, which are huge. So I think if somebody looks at an area and decides that's not for them, they shouldn't turn their back on the aftermarket. They should look at what opportunities there are for them.
Absolutely. Well, before we sort of talk about, how we can maybe do that, collectively and together as an industry, it'd be good to get a little bit more information on yourself. I mean, a lot of the people, myself included, kind of fall into the aftermarket. So can you just sort of tell us a little bit about your entry into the aftermarket and how you've elevated into the role of managing director right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one from my point of view because, I am probably one of few in my position that doesn't have a huge passion for vehicles and didn't really, kind of always be thinking I want to work in the automotive sector. Yeah. I am from a finance background, so my early career was with local accountancy and audit firms. Yeah. I took a job with a who was a client of mine at the time in the food industry, and decided that actually I quite liked that side of things rather than being kind of in-house with accountants and auditors. So I realised that industry was more where I wanted to be. I am from the local Banbury area. HELA has been a name that has been in and around that for the last 4 or 5 decades. So I've grown up knowing the name HELA. We used to have a huge manufacturing site which employed 600-700 people in the area. And so when I saw the job as finance director came up for HELA, I jumped at the opportunity, and fortunately I was successful in getting that role. I've been with HELA 10 years this year. It was, as I've just said, my first role in the aftermarket. And when I joined, people kind of said to me, once you get into the aftermarket, it's difficult to leave. And you can really see that because there's a really, there's a real sense of belonging, a real family feel to the aftermarket, which is great. And so, I started as finance director, became managing director in 2020, but never, it wasn't a career path that I was thinking, I want to get into automotive and I want to get into the aftermarket. But I'm really pleased that I did because it's a great place to be.
You made the transition from the food industry, in the accountancy field, into the automotive space. Just tell us a little bit how you found the transition from one industry to the other or into our sector.
Yeah, it was a big change. The organisations in themselves were completely different. So the company I was working for in the food industry was relatively small in terms of its structure. It was a kind of family-owned entity. So coming into HELA was quite a big change in terms of the kind of the global business that I was entering. But in terms of industries themselves, we were dealing in the food industry with some of the supermarkets. And again, people make comparisons really in the aftermarket at times to say, it's going that way with fewer players, but bigger ones. But what I found very different is that the food industry, certainly the area of it that I was working in, was very much transactional based, I would say. I think what you get with the aftermarket is that it is about relationships. And, obviously when I joined HELA, it was for 5 years as the finance director. And so again, I was a little bit in the background of some of that, but in a sense that was good because it really allowed me to understand the HELA business, understand what we were doing and how we were doing it and the systems and the processes. And then becoming managing director in 2020 then gave me the opportunity to understand the wider picture a bit more. And I think I really then learned the importance of relationships and the fact that, it's a bit of a corny quote to say people buy from people, but I think that it's very, very true in this sector that what you get is that if you have a product that's positioned right and you can go out there and talk to people and you can understand their needs and wants and you have something that suits, then you can be very successful. And I think that is, certainly one thing that I have really kind of learned as being different between two industries is that actually, it's not just about having a product and having the right price. It's about being able to understand the needs of the customer. And I think that is vital in the aftermarket.
And I think, sort of with what you've just hit on there, with regards to a channel, for example, there are lots of markets out there that reflect the aftermarket sector, with your retailers, national accounts, online trading platforms, etc., end users. And I think it's good if you can find people that, sort of understand and appreciate that. So, like, for example, the building industry, where at the end of the day, it's a trade supplier. So I would imagine that, the skills are very similar.
Yeah, I would say so. And again, I break our business down into very simple terms, and there are a lot of people that don't like me doing it because there is a lot of technology and things that goes in the box. But essentially, we are selling boxes. It's about understanding what somebody wants and do you have the right thing in the box at the right price to be able to do that. And I think that is where, certainly there is a lot of transferable skills within what we do in the aftermarket with other industries. Do we understand how we can interact with a customer? Do we understand how we can get a product positioned right in the market at the right price point, have the right availability levels and all those things? So absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. There is a lot of what we do that will be exactly the same in other industries.
And what do you feel, you know, from a Hella point of view and sort of from the industry, how do you feel that you've developed your own skill set within our sector? And have you had the opportunity to really sort of train and develop and grow and nurture? Obviously, you know, you've climbed the ladder, which is great, but it'd be just interesting to hear, you know, for people to be able to hear, you know, what sort of support you've been given to get to where you are now.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is, you know, moving from finance director to managing director means that you get to unlock yourself from your desk and get out and meet people. You know, I think finance, particularly in the past, has always had this thing of, you know, you sit and do the things in the background without really showing your face. So that's been great. And I have to say, you know, I've been really pleased in getting out and meeting people, having conversations about what we do, about our products, about the industry in general. And I think that that's been fantastic. And that would be the biggest thing for me, that I would say, you know, what have I learned a lot about moving into the managing director's role is really just about what the industry has to offer, what is out there, who is doing what and how. And that is a thing that I will always be really, really kind of, you know, proud of, that actually we've managed to be very successful in the last few years by talking to people and understanding more about the industry. And I think that is a major thing, particularly as the industry is evolving at quite a pace.
And do you see opportunities for more mature candidates that are further on in their career to use transferable skills to come in and make an impact in Hella or an aftermarket business, for example?
Yeah, definitely. And again, you know, I think as the industry changes, I think that there are more and more transferable skills that can come into that. You know, we talk about, for example, remote diagnostics, something that we do. You know, they need to have our technicians in that area need to have a passion for cars. But they are working behind a computer. So there are transferable skills there from other industries. And, you know, there is a lot more conversations around data. There is a lot more IT-based roles that we need. You know, I think cars of 10, 15 years ago, you know, need specialism in terms of how you fix them. Now we're all driving around in computers on wheels, effectively. So there are a lot of skills there that can be utilised. And I think, you know, we always kind of encourage when we're recruiting to look at, you know, what's the person got rather than what experience of the aftermarket have they got, because I think that there are certain roles where you can get that balance right. There are certain roles, of course, where you want aftermarket experience, but I think that there is a lot of opportunity for people outside of the industry to bring their skills into the aftermarket for sure.
And what about the allied sectors, for example, the construction industry and machinery and agricultural? Do you see an opportunity to attract those type of candidates, you know, into our sector?
Yeah, I do. Again, I think it depends on the roles. I think that's the important bit. But yeah, for sure, there are absolutely transferable skills in all of it. You know, I think it really is about understanding, you know, what we have to offer from an aftermarket point of view. I think that is something that we need to do from within to ensure that people are aware of what's out there. And then, yeah, absolutely, there is no reason why we shouldn't be looking at, you know, skill sets that are in other industries and what they can then offer into the aftermarket. And there is no doubt roles that will be able to be fulfilled from, you know, other sectors where the skill sets match what we have.
Career paths are important, of course, and so are training. What sort of things are Hella doing now to support their employees and bring them on as both professionally and individually?
Yeah, so there's a huge amount going on. I think one of the big advantages from our point of view as an aftermarket business of the takeover by Varisha is they have some fantastic internal training programs that our employees can take advantage of. So we have something called the Favia Learning Lab, which allows individuals to go onto a portal and find a huge suite of different training that they can do. So that's definitely one advantage from that point of view. We are always looking at what skill sets people have and where that then opens up opportunities with their career. I like the fact that we have people within our own business. So from a UK point of view, we're relatively small in 50 employees, but we have people that transfer between departments because those skill sets are relatively transferable. We are also looking, of course, at the wider group that we have in terms of HELA, but also Forvia, what paths are available to people to move up into the wider group as well. So there is a lot of things that we do there, and I think the important bit for me is, as leaders of our business, that we're communicating with our people, we're understanding what they're looking for and where they see their future going, so that we can position them in the right place and we can have those conversations with, which I think is vital.
Our sector should be a career of choice.
Yeah.
What things could we do, or how do you see that, in terms of what we could be doing to attract more people to our sector?
Yeah, I think that's a massive question, Glenn, to be honest. There's so much that I think we can be doing. I think that, the first thing that we need to do is really change the image of the automotive industry in general, not just the aftermarket, but, I think that there is still this viewpoint that actually automotive is either something you fall into, like you say, because maybe other avenues aren't open to you, or that actually it's something that, it is maybe you need to be hands-on and get your hands dirty, and if that's not for you, then it's not the sector. I think we need to make sure that we promote the industry in the right way, which of course there is some get your hands dirty, and some people of course want to do that side of it, which is great, but there are so many other roles within it, and I think that's the bit where we need to help support and promote that. I think the other thing that we need to do more of is to tell stories about the good people we have within our businesses. So we ran a campaign last year here at HELA called We Are Real, which again was really to try and promote the people within our business, what they do, who they are, to try and show that to not just the wider industry, but again, outside of the industry, so that people can read stories about a real life marketing manager, or can read real life stories about a product manager, and can see what is available. And I think that's the other thing. I think sometimes, we have these people who are known to their counterparts with their customers, their suppliers, but to the wider industry, if we were to say what job roles are available within the aftermarket, I'm not sure how many people know the full range. So I think that there is a lot of promotional stuff that can be done. I think we can promote our own success stories from within our own business. I think we need to probably come together as an industry to do a bit more. And I think that we need to promote the different roles within the sector to outside industries to make the aftermarket and automotive a more attractive place for them to be.
So brings me on to this year, Automechanika. You guys are exhibiting.
We are.
Great place to sort of tell people about what we do, and what a great place this is to be, and great space to work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's always great, a great event, Automechanika, and, certainly one that, we really look forward to, and a lot of planning goes into. We obviously can showcase the products that we offer, which is good, but I think also what we can help to demonstrate is, who we are as an organisation. We have a number of staff from different sectors that will be there. So we will have, marketing, sales, product management, customer service as well. And again, it's a good opportunity for people to be able to talk to the industry about who we are and what we do. And again, we are keen to promote as much as possible about the kind of diverse range of things that we have to offer, which is again a really big plus from us as a business.
Well, hopefully with the 3 interviews that we're conducting, it's going to give people an insight into a real journey. So thanks for sharing that with us.
And I think it's great, Glenn, that you're raising these topics, because I think it is key for us to have the best future of the aftermarket that we can have, is to make sure that we are attracting the right people into the industry, and then obviously keeping them there as well.